ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्तो राधाकान्तो नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वंशागलपुत्रोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। प्लीज रिपीट। हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
हरे
Hare Rama,
राम,
Hare Rama,
हरे राम
Rama
राम
Rama,
हरे हरे।
Hare
One last time. हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा
Krishna, Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे
Hare Hare, Hare
हरे
Rama, Hare
हरे
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे। So Hare Krishna, very warm welcome to all of you. So everybody, I think everybody has Ishopanishad, right? Like at this point of time. So we have covered till 7 verses. Today we'll cover 8, 9, and 10 verses. Today we'll try to go faster in the interest of time. So as you know, like the introduction invocation starts with Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. So the Supreme Lord is totally complete, and all the emanations coming out of him are also totally complete. So if we feel incomplete, it is only because of our incomplete knowledge of the fully complete. So that's what is an important sentence which Prabhupada mentions in the invocation. And this is very important. Actually, we feel incomplete only because of our incomplete Krishna consciousness. If we are fully Krishna conscious, then automatically we'll feel fully complete and fully satisfied. And that is the characteristic of anything which is coming out of the Lord. For example, Krishna is, so depending on the status of the soul, the body which is given to the soul is fully complete, whether it be a dog's body or it be a human body. Like it has all the organs, it can digest everything, it can make all the loving exchanges with other living entities of the same species, it can speak all the appropriate things. So everything Krishna has given fully for every living entity, for every species. And then basically the first words, Ishavashyam idam sarvam yatkinchat jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhunjita mahadita katsasuddhanam. So everything animate or inanimate is coming out of the Lord, and everybody has his own quota. And and one should perform within its own quota, and one should not encroach over others' quota. So whatever Krishna has given to us, we should be happy and satisfied by engaging that quota in Lord's service. We should understand the proprietorship of Krishna, and we should follow the Karmanyevadikaraste principle. We should engage that whatever is given to us by Krishna in his service, seeing his like proprietorship and being fully Krishna conscious. And like that, we should try to encourage others also to engage their own quota in Krishna's service. So if we follow this principle, then we will be able to live for hundreds of years without any problem, without any diseases. If we remain fully Krishna conscious, fully happy and satisfied in our quota, and fully happy and satisfied in that relationship with Krishna, engaging that quota in Krishna's service. So that is the second verse, that if we can live happily and full satisfaction and contentment, then we can live hundreds of years. But if we don't follow the Ishavashyam principles, then we will have to go to the darkest regions of hell. So that is the third verse. And fourth and fifth verse are telling about the characteristics of the Lord. That Lord, he can run faster than the mind. And although he is fixed in his abode, but still he is not. He is very, very far away, but he is near also. So while practicing the Ishavashyam principle, when we cultivate the understanding of the Lord of fourth and fifth verse, then we become more and more Krishna conscious. And then sixth, seventh, and eighth verse are telling about the characteristics of the Uttamadhikari. That when you follow the Ishavashyam principle very, very nicely, then your realization of Krishna increases more and more, and you can understand, you can see all the part and parcel, all the living entities as part and parcels of Krishna. Right? That's what we read in the last session. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani evanupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsyate. So vijugupsyate means he does not hate anyone. He doesn't hanker for anything, and he doesn't hate anybody. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshasti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mahiteshu chapya. So Krishna, he neither hates anybody, he neither loves anybody. He is not partial. But one who does devotion, he's partial to that person. So that is the principle of impartiality, that according to one's surrender, Krishna reciprocates. Ye yathamam prapadante tam state bhajamyam. And like that, if we see that all the living entities, they are part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is the original proprietor of all the living entities, Mamevancho Jivaloke, Jivuta Sanatana, then that is the Ekatva Manupashyati principle. So, Ekatva Manupashyati means you can see Krishna in everybody, and you can see everybody as part and parcel of Krishna. So, you can see Krishna inside everybody, and you can see Krishna outside everything. So, that is the Ekatva Manupashyati principle of Anupramadikari. And the seventh verse says, one who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, quality one with God, becomes a true knower of things. What can be illusion or anxiety for him? So if everybody is like properly seen as part and parcel of Krishna, then there will be no anxiety, no hankering. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shochadina Kankshati Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu na Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. The one who is on the Brahmabhuta platform, he does not hanker for anything, and he doesn't lament for anything. So there might be many things he might not be having. He does not hanker for those, and he does not lament for those things which have happened in the past. So that is the victim mentality. Like if we are just stuck with something which has happened in the past, then that becomes a victim mentality. So basically, that's why it is said that like we should neither be in present, we should neither be in past nor in future, but we should stay in the present. Like when we are conscious of the present, when we become conscious of our present surroundings, present consciousness, then finally we become Krishna conscious. First we become conscious, then we become Krishna conscious. So that is very important, that we should not speculate too much about future, and we should not lament too much about the past. So when we chant this holy name, when we hear from senior devotees, then we remain in the present. Then we remain Krishna conscious, because the holy name purifies you and like makes your consciousness as Krishna conscious. And all the past dwellings, all the past sufferings, all the past sanskaras, holy name has the potency to dissolve. नाम नामकारी बहुधा निज निज सर्व शक्तिस तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन kala. So like this, if we can stay in the present and neither lament for the past nor hanker for the future, then we can be situated on the Brahmabhuta platform. And when Brahmabhuta is the starting point of Krishna consciousness, once you have reached the Brahmabhuta platform, then you can start, your pure devotional service starts from that point. So devotional service really starts when our senses become purified and we are in the present, performing service to Krishna. Mayi chananya yogena bhaktirava vicharini sagunan samtityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So avyabhichari bhakti starts when we are totally single pointed and totally undistracted from any other things, and we are totally fixed up in our relationship with Krishna. So with that note, we'll start the eighth verse. I'll close it. Any questions? Anybody wants to share anything from the last class which we discussed? I remember Aman Prabhu asked one question in relation to like what is the level of devotion of Yogi and Yogi Adityanath and all this Narendra Modi, right? So we discussed about the different levels of devotees also, Kanishtha-adhikari, Madhyama-adhikari, and Uttama-adhikari. Anybody remembers what was the difference? What is the characteristic of a Kanishtha-adhikari? Nobody remembers. So actually in Bhakti Shastri, every class we start by like asking that what we have read, what we have discussed in the previous class. So let us spend 5 minutes on that. Now I have summarized the book till now. If anybody wants to share or nobody remembers, because we don't want to be like the Alexander who starts like conquering so many countries, and whatever he has conquered, he he doesn't care for that. Yes, Prabhu, Prabhjit Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी कह सकते हैं आप।
Not Ram, Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी कनिष्ठ अधिकारी वो जैसे उनको टेम्पल जाना अच्छा लगता है, भगवान के दर्शन करना अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन प्रभु जैसे वो मतलब अगर हम एग्जांपल देते हो कि वो टेम्पल जाएंगे और टेम्पल से फिर घर जाएंगे, मतलब वो इतना इंडल्ज नहीं रहते हैं कि जितना मतलब जितना समय वहाँ रहे उनको भगवान की भक्ति करी उन्होंने, मतलब दर्शन करे, उसके बाद वो जाएंगे फिर थोड़ा अपना मटेरियल वर्क में बिजी हो जाते हैं। तो आई थिंक कनिष्ठ अधिकारी।
हाँ हाँ, इसमें प्रभु जी आपके भी मार्क्स इस वाले में कम है शायद, जो फोर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स बताने थे सीबीए में, तो आप देखिएगा, इसको रिविजिट करिएगा। तो कनिष्ठाधिकारी के मटेरियल कंसेप्शंस होते हैं, मटेरियल कंसेप्शंस के साथ वो डीटी वर्शिप करता है, एंड ही कंसिडर्स द डीटी एज ऑल इन ऑल, मतलब he doesn't see Krishna in anything else. For example, Madhyamadhikari can see Krishna in other Madhyamadhikaris also. He makes friendship with the Madhyamadhikaris. And what are the, so that is one good point which you made, कि like Kanishtadhikari is more concerned about it, about the deity worship happening in the home, है ना? But the right way to say is that he does those things with his material conception, with his bodily conceptions, and he doesn't see, he's not able to see Krishna in others. And what are the characteristics of Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari? Anybody else? Yes, Mataji, go ahead. Pragya Mataji, go ahead.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी जो मध्यम अधिकारी होते हैं उन वो जो होते हैं एथिस्ट लोगों से दूर रहते हैं और वो भगवान को मानते हैं कि वो एक सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड हेड है, इस तरीके से वो भगवान को मानते हैं। और प्रभु जी वो इनोसेंट पर बहुत दया करते हैं।
प्रेम मैत्री कृपोपेक्षा ये करोति
और
समंतम।
प्रभु जी एक और था वो,
He makes friendship with the Madhyamadhikaris.
यस प्रभु जी, डिवोटी फ्रेंड्स बनाते हैं वो।
हाँ, yes. He basically is able to describe love. Okay, just a second. I will. There was some issue with the connection. And we also read about Nirguna and Saguna. Anybody remembers what was that? Or maybe Uttamadhikari, like we have already discussed about Madhyamadhikari and Kanishtadhikari, but what were the characteristics of Uttamadhikari? So the only, I think, characteristic of Uttamadhikari which was different from Madhyamadhikari was that even in an envious person, he can see Krishna, and he can induce an envious person also to chant Krishna. So the most important characteristics of an Uttamadhikari is just by looking at him, just by feeling his association, any person would like to chant. That desire will arise. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. That desire will rise to chant about Krishna. So that he is carrying so much devotion in his heart. It is also said the devotion of a Kanishtadhikari is like a drop. The devotion of a Madhyamadhikari, it's like a stream, just like like waterfall. And waterfall is made up of hundreds of streams. So one stream is equivalent to Madhyamadhikari. And Uttamadhikari, it's like a waterfall. So the devotion, it merges out in full unalloyed Shuddha Sattva. So that is like a waterfall. So drop, stream, and waterfall. So Uttamadhikari is fully immersed in Krishna. His senses are totally surrendered to Krishna. He is always in touch with Krishna. Sarva dharman paritijya mamekam sharanam praja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo muktisami mansucha. So he is always surrendered to Krishna, and he is always in touch with Krishna. Okay. So let's start reading the next verse. Sapariyaga sukramaka yamavranam asnaviram shuddhama papa vidham kabir manishi paribhu swayambhu yatha tatatyato arthan vyadadat chaswatibhya samabhya. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without means, pure and uncontaminated. The self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. So basically, this 6th, 7th, and 8th words are telling about the characteristics of an Uttamadhikari. And this verse tells about the qualities of the Lord. The Lord is unembodied. He doesn't have a material body. He is omniscient. He is present everywhere. He is beyond reproach. Nobody can criticize him. He doesn't have any veins. He is pure. Shuddham, apavidham. Shuddham means he is pure. Apavidham means he is like an antiseptic. Whoever comes in touch with Krishna, he becomes purified. And he is a self-sufficient philosopher. Krishna Surisama, Maya Haya Andhakar, Yaha Krishna Mahari, Mayara Adhikar. So as soon as Krishna awakens, as soon as you feel presence of Krishna in your heart, in your chanting, then immediately the Maya goes away. All the light comes into our heart. Just like a dark room, right? You cannot see anything. What is happening inside the dark room? It might be full of dust. It might be full of like furniture, which is old. But unless the sunlight enters into that room, you will not be able to understand the status of the room. So similarly, when the light awakens, when you are able to perceive Krishna in our heart, then we see different various all the contaminations, all the dust which has been accumulated for millions of births, that becomes visible. So that is because of the apavidham quality of Krishna. So anything which he comes in touch of, he he makes it auspicious. All the papa, all the sin is purified by the contact of Krishna. So that's how powerful the pure devotee is, Uttamadhikari is. Everything which he comes in touch with, he makes it spiritual. He spiritualizes it. So there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, right? Acharyavat kaschidayanam acharyavat. So there are four times Ascharyavat paschidam. So this Ascharya word is used 4 times. So it is describing the soul. The properties of the soul is also amazing. The person who is speaking about the soul is also amazing. And the person who is hearing about the soul is also amazing. And the person who is telling all these things, he is also amazing. But still, sometimes people, they don't understand the amazing nature of this soul. So everything becomes amazing by the touch of Krishna, by the touch of a pure devotee. Purport given by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhu. Here is a description of the transcendental and eternal form of the absolute personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is not formless. He has his own transcendental form, which is not at all similar to the forms of the mundane world. The forms of the living entities in this world are embodied in material nature, and they work like any material machine. The anatomy of a material body must have a mechanical construction with veins and so forth. But the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord has nothing like veins. It is clearly stated here that he is unembodied, which means that there is no difference between his body and his soul. Nor is he forced to accept a body according to the laws of nature, as we are. In materially conditioned life, the soul is different from the gross embodiment and subtle mind. For the Supreme Lord, however, there is never any such difference between him and his body and mind. He is the complete whole, and his mind, body, and he himself are all one and the same. Yeah, so Lord's body and Lord himself and Lord's mind, everything is the same. In our case, our material body and spirit soul are different. The nature is different. But the nature of our soul is same as the nature of the Lord. Satchidananda Vigraha, Lord, right? So the Lord has a form. Just like we have this body and body has a form, there are curves on the elbows, there are curves on the knees, there are curves at different areas. There are no corners in the body. Like everything is very curvy. So similarly, like the form of the Lord is also very curvy. It has a Satchidananda Vigraha form. It is full of knowledge, full of bliss, and it is eternal. And similar form our spirit soul also has. So our spirit soul has spiritual senses. Just like we have material senses, we eat food by our mouth, we smell through our nose. So actually, these nose, these mouth, these ear, these eyes, they are just the subtle manifestation of our spiritual senses. And as we practice devotional service, we take prasadam, we do deity worship, we stay in a temple, then our material senses become more and more purified. And then our spiritual senses become awakened. And then we understand, okay, we are a spirit soul and we have a form and we have spiritual senses also. So these spiritual senses are just like next door neighbors to the spirit soul. These are not like material manifestations like nose, ear, or eyes, but they are just a dot on top of the spirit soul. In the Brahma Samhita, there is a similar description of the Supreme Lord. He is described there as Satchidananda Vigraha, which means that he is the eternal form fully representing transcendental existence, knowledge, and bliss. So Sat is eternal existence, and Chit means knowledge, and Anand means blissful. So Vadanti Tattva Tattva Vidas. So this verse everybody knows, Bhagavatam verse, Vadanti Tattva Tattva Vidas. Tattvam Yaj Jnanam Advayam, Brahmeti Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdate. So the first level of realization is Brahman. Brahman is understanding the eternal existence. And in Paramatma, we are able to understand that it is full of knowledge and it is eternally existing. And finally, in the Bhagavan form, we are able to understand the Satchidananda Vigraha form of the Lord. So as such, he does not require a separate body or mind as we do in material existence. The Vedic literature clearly states that the Lord's transcendental body is completely different from ours. Thus, he is sometimes described as formless. This means that he has no form like ours and that he is devoid of a form we can conceive of. In the Brahma Samhita, it is further stated that with each and every part of his body, he can do the work of the other senses. We sing in the morning, right? Angani yasya sakalendriya vritimanti. Anand chinmaya rasa pratibhavitavis. So with every sense, all the senses of Krishna's are interchangeable. Krishna can eat through his ears. When we chant the mantras for offering, like Krishna eats those mantras through his ears. So his ears are behaving like his mouth. So all the senses of Krishna are interchangeable. This means that the Lord can walk with his hands, accept things with his legs, see with his hands and feet, eat with his eyes, etc. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said that although the Lord has no hands and legs like ours, he has a different types of hands and legs by which he can accept all that we offer him and run faster than anyone. These points are confirmed in this 8th mantra through the use of words like Shukram. Yeah, so Krishna is omnipotent. I also have Gaurnitai. There are so many other devotees who also have Gaurnitai. So it is not necessary that Krishna will reciprocate only with one person at a time. Krishna can reciprocate with multiple devotees simultaneously. So that's why we should respect the devotion which every devotee is carrying. So Krishna can accept bhoga from my Gaurnitai also, and Krishna can accept bhoga from other people's Gaurnitai also. Yeah. So the Lord's worshipable form Archa Vigraha, which is installed in temples by authorized acharyas who have realized the Lord in terms of mantra 7, is non-different from the original form of the Lord. So this is very important. And that's why like doing Pran Pratishtha from authorized acharyas, that becomes very important because through their connection with the disciplic succession, they can put prana into the stone. So the ashad, it doesn't remain an ashad. It becomes Bhagavan actually. It becomes spiritualized when Pran Pratishtha is done. So this is the science of Krishna consciousness. The Lord's original form is that of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna expands himself into an unlimited number of forms such as Baldev, Rama, Narasimha, and Varaha. All of these forms are one and the same personality of Godhead. Similarly, the Archa Vigraha worshipped in temples is also an expanded form of the Lord. By worshipping the Archa Vigraha, one can at once approach the Lord, who accepts the service of a devotee by his omnipotent energy. The Archa Vigraha of the Lord descends at the request of the Acharyas, the holy teachers, and works exactly in the original way of the Lord by virtue of the Lord's omnipotence. Foolish people who have no knowledge of Sri Upanishad or any of the other Shruti mantras consider the Archa Vigraha, which is worshipped by pure devotees, to be made of material elements. This form may be seen as material by the imperfect eyes of foolish people or Kanishtadhikaris. But such people do not know that the Lord, being omnipotent and omniscient, can transform matter into spirit and spirit into matter as he desires. So Lord is like the perfect electrician who can transform the same electricity into air-conditioned like cool wind also, and it can transform the same energy into the warm wind also by a heater. So similarly, like Archa Vigraha, having faith in Archa Vigraha is very important. Prabhupada gives the example of a postman. Like if, so there are many postal these things, right? You can put your letters into a postal so these postal monuments, and then the postman will come and pick up that postal monuments, can pick up the letters from the postal monuments and can deliver it to the appropriate address. But there are postal monuments which are authorized and which are not. So if you put the letters in the authorized postal monuments, automatically it will go to the right place, right destination. But if you don't follow the authority, if you don't follow the authorized postal monuments, then they will not go to the destination. So similarly, like the Archa Vigraha, if you worship the Archa Vigraha, if you get the mercy of the Archa Vigraha, which are installed by authorities who are connected in disciplic succession, then you will get full mercy. But if you don't like follow the authorities, if you don't like fall in the disciplic succession, then those Archa Vigrahas will lose their potency. Okay, this point is clear. This postman thing and Archa Vigrah thing. Okay, anybody wants to read the next paragraph? Vanshu Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure.
Next. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.1 to 12, the Lord regrets. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.11 to 12, the Lord regrets the fallen condition of men with little knowledge who deride him because he descends like a man into this world. Such poorly informed persons do not know the omnipotence of the Lord. Thus, the Lord does not manifest himself in full with the material speculators. He can be appreciated only in proportion to one's surrender to him. The fallen condition of the living entities is due entirely to forgetfulness of their relationship with God.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So the realization of the Lord depends on the disposition of our heart. For example, when Narsimadev was there, when Prahlad Maharaj was exploited by Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj said, my Lord sits in this pillar also. Then Hiranyakashipu, he broke that pillar and the Lord came out. So Narsimadev was very, very angry and he was ferocious because he came in a lion form, right? Nara and Simha. So like different devotees had different disposition of heart. Prahlad Maharaj was totally fearless. He was feeling affectionate. He was feeling full of ecstasy by seeing the ferocious form of the Lord. But the soldiers of Hiranyakashipu, they were trying to kill Narsimadev. And the demigods, they were feeling fearful. Lord Brahma was telling Lakshmi, you go, pacify Narsimadev. And then finally they decided that Prahlad will go to pacify Narsimadev. And then Prahlad Maharaj, he pacifies. Narsimadev is so affectionate to Prahlad Maharaj, he keeps his hand on Prahlad Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj starts uttering so many prayers by that stimulation of Krishna consciousness, by the touch of Narsimadev. So we can see that different people have different disposition of heart towards Narsimadev, towards the ferocious form of the Narsimadev. So depending on your disposition of heart, your basically the reciprocation will be there. So when Krishna came 5,000 years back, so many people were there who did not understand that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Brajvasis, they used to call him Lalla. Like Krishna was like a child for all of them. So even when a pure devotee he walks, some people say, okay, he's a good person. Some people say that he is my friend. Some people envy him. Oh, so many people are following him. So many people are like doing whatever he is saying. Why so much importance is given to the pure devotee? Somebody, he sees the Krishna within the pure devotee. He sees his Krishna consciousness. He sees his aura. He sees his spiritual strength. So there are different levels of devotees depending on their disposition of heart and their consciousness. So a person who sees the pure devotee as he is, so that person can become a pure devotee. It takes one to know one, and that is the aim of our life. So slowly, when we remain connected to a pure devotee, when we follow his guidance, along with the guidance of a Brahmana, then slowly we'll become a pure devotee within this life. So that's the goal of our group also. Like maybe 10 years, 15 years down the line, everybody should become a pure devotee. Like everybody is chanting 64 rounds a day, and he is totally absorbed in Krishna, and then he is helping the society by his own absorption in his Krishna consciousness and own absorption and realization of these scriptures. Okay. So that's why like our faith should be strong. We have to change our desire. We have to change our attitude. We have to become receptive. We have to hear from the pure devotees. So our desire changes, our heart transforms when we hear from pure devotees. Satam prasangan mama veer samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha tajjoshnadashu pavargavartmani shraddharatiriyas anukramishati. So when we hear and chant in the association of devotees, then our heart gets transformed and we travel the path from Shraddha to Prema. Shraddha Ratir Anukramishati. So that's why hearing in the association of Lord, in the association of devotees about the Lord is very important. Next paragraph. So maybe we can do this exercise that what do you think, like at what level you are right now in your Krishna consciousness? Suppose Krishna appears in front of you or a pure devotee appears in front of you. So what is your attitudes towards him? And what is your reciprocation towards that association? Okay. Does everybody understand the question? Like, what is your attitude? Because Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction also, right? That the progress of a follower depends on the attitude of the follower. So what is the attitude right now? Suppose you see a pure devotee in front of him, then how will you associate with him? How will you connect with him? Suppose Krishna comes in front of you, then how will you receive? You can take 1 minute and think about it. Hare Krishna. Yes, Simran Nathaji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. And we have to open our cameras whenever we speak, if possible.
Prabhuji, for an instant of time, I will forget what to ask and what to say to Lord if he appears, and and I think if he remains for some time, I may ask that why he created this material world.
Oh, nice. So you will ask a question to Krishna if he comes in front of you. Very nice. What suppose Narsimhadev comes in front of you, what will be your reaction? He is roaring like a lion. He might eat anybody, right?
I think I'll be unable to face him because his personality is something very very scariest type, na?
Yeah. So you will become afraid of him, basically, right?
Not just afraid, but I will say that because I have never seen him. जैसे अगर मैं मतलब पहले कभी नहीं देखा तो जैसे हम किसी को ऐसे देखेंगे और वो भी मतलब भगवान को, तो एकदम से ऐसे उस टाइम पे समझ ही नहीं आएगा कि क्या ही बोले उनसे और क्या ही पूछे मतलब.
एंड सिमिलर मतलब ध्रुव महाराज की भी यही कंडीशन थी. जब उनके सामने भगवान आए तो उनको समझ नहीं आया कि क्या बोलना है. और इसलिए उन्होंने बस दंडवत प्रणाम कर दिया उन्हें. So it's very natural to have. Dhruv Maharaj is a pure devotee. Yes. Go ahead. आप कुछ कह रहे थे.
But but if he appears in the form of Krishna, like we, जैसे हम देखते हैं हमको मतलब उनकी पर्सनैलिटी बहुत सोबर, बहुत मतलब एकदम मधुर अष्टगम, मतलब मधुर बहुत वैसे टाइप के है वो. तो उनसे तो कुछ टाइम तो मैं कहूँगी कि मतलब नहीं कुछ बोला जाएगा, बट आफ्टर सम टाइम इफ ही रिमेन्स विद मी मतलब वो मेरे साथ रहेंगे कुछ टाइम, तो शायद मैं कुछ बोल पाऊँ. मतलब आई विल शेयर एवरीथिंग विद हिम एंड I have nothing to ask to him, but I'll ask only one question: why he created this material world? What is his motive behind this?
अच्छा. आपको पता है इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर? मतलब why did Krishna created this world?
No, प्रभु जी.
अच्छा.
I mean जब सबको वापस जाना है अपने, मतलब जैसे 84 लाख जो हमारी योनियाज होती है उनसे वापस, मतलब उनसे होके मतलब रियलाइजेशन के बाद हमें गॉड हेड मतलब वहीं गोलोक जाना है या फिर भगवान के धाम वापस जाना है, तो फिर मतलब इतना सब कुछ होना ही है, तो फिर क्यों ये सब मतलब
हाँ.
और अगर हमारी एक छोटी भी मिस्टेक होगी फिर हम वापस मतलब छोटी या फिर कहूँ मैं बड़ी मिस्टेक होगी, मतलब फिर हम वापस चले जाएंगे मतलब डार्क वर्ल्ड में, मतलब जो हमारी 84 लाख योनियां होती हैं उन्हीं में. तो मतलब फिर और सब कुछ कंट्रोल भी वही करते हैं, एवरी एक्शन इज कंट्रोल बाय हिम. तो ऐसे क्यों मतलब
हम्म. तो ये एक अलग क्वेश्चन है और अलग टॉपिक है ये. और कृष्णा नेवर वांटेड टू क्रिएट मटेरियल वर्ल्ड. इट इज ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ अस, बिकॉज ऑफ आवर stubbornness, because of our rebelliousness, Krishna has created this material. Because we, like Krishna always wanted us to enjoy in the spiritual world by serving him, but we wanted to enjoy independently. And that's why, so just like a loving father, if a son rebels, he says that, no, I don't want to serve you, father, I don't want to obey your instructions, I want to do something independently. Then father will give him some money. Okay, you do whatever you want. You want to suffer, you suffer, but you take this money and you. So Krishna created this material world, and Krishna gave the Vedas also, so that we can purify our material desires. So that's why this material world is also called Maithun Agar. Basically, it's a rectification system where Krishna will rectify you, and Krishna will correct you. Krishna will purify your heart, and then he will take you back to God. Krishna is more eager than us to take you back to God. So we have to see, like when we understand the impurities in our heart, then we understand that why we are here. So that's a $1 million question actually. How we understand that why we are in this material world? Because our heart is contaminated. Our heart is contaminated with full of material conceptions. We want to enjoy. We don't want to serve Krishna. So when we feel the presence of Krishna, when we serve Krishna, when we feel the Bhakti Shakti, then we are able to understand the contaminations of our heart. And then we understand the path which we have to traverse. Because the GPS, just like if you want to go from Dehradun to Mumbai, right? You will feed Mumbai as the destination. So your destination will be very clear. Your destination is to go to Krishna. So you will know that first from Dehradun you will go to Delhi, and then from Delhi to get Jaipur, and then finally Jaipur to Mumbai. So when you are able to see Krishna, then you will be able to see all the impurities in your heart. That's what Dhruv Maharaj is also saying, that as soon as he took darshan of Krishna, that he understood that the material desires which he was having, those were like broken glasses. And as you are saying that once you feel Krishna, then slowly, if he stays with you, he will purify you, and then you will share your heart with him, and you will try to glorify him, right? So generally when we stay with Krishna, when we stay with devotees, stay with the Krishna Katha, then slowly our heart becomes purified, and we are able to make a relationship with that person. And that is the spiritual world. And right now we are not able to directly perceive that relationship because of our conditioning. So that conditioning is our thing. So Krishna controls everything, but Krishna doesn't control our free will. Right? So it is your free will that you are attending these sessions. It is your free will that you are doing bhakti. It is not, Krishna is not controlling you that you do bhakti. Love is not controlling. Love is voluntary, right? Yeah. Is it clear? A little bit, Mataji.
यस प्रभु जी, बट जैसे रियलाइजेशन से पहले अगर हमने भक्ति नहीं की है या फिर हमने कुछ ऐसे एक्ट्स किए हैं लाइफ में, लाइक कुछ भी किसी मतलब किसी को हर्ट किया है या फिर कुछ भी हमसे इतने सारे मतलब कुछ भी बहुत सारी गलतियां होती हैं लाइफ में, और उस जब तक हमें उस चीज का रियलाइजेशन नहीं हुआ और बाद में हमें रियलाइजेशन होता है कि मतलब स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड से हम जुड़ते हैं या फिर भगवान की भक्ति से जुड़ते हैं, तो उसके बाद मतलब जो हमारे वो प्रीवियस कर्मास या फिर जो भी एक्ट्स होते हैं, तो देन मतलब हमें उसके लिए हमें मतलब भगवान कैसे वो करेंगे फिर?
मतलब कैसे हमें
मतलब
रेक्टिफाई करना है भी है, करना भी है या नहीं
मतलब
करना है?
हम तब भी भगवान के धाम गोवा भी जाएंगे या फिर मतलब उन एक्ट्स की वजह से हम यहीं पे रहेंगे?
हाँ, तो यही क्वेश्चन परीक्षित महाराज पूछ रहे हैं सुखदेव गोस्वामी से कि मतलब जो हम गलत आदतें हमारी जो होती हैं उसके लिए पश्चाताप काफी है क्या? मतलब जो प्रायश्चित अटोनमेंट सिस्टम जो होता है, इज दैट सफिशिएंट? तो सुखदेव गोस्वामी यही कहते हैं कंक्लूजन में, एक्चुअली द रियल atonement is awakening of our Krishna consciousness. So whenever Krishna consciousness awakens, when we are able to feel the presence of Krishna, then all our past karmas are purified. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmana te dvanda mohanir mukta bhajante mam drinavrat. So if you are coming above te dvanda mohanir vimukta, dvand and moha, so you are coming above the duality and you are coming above the illusion, and you are able to engage yourself in bhajan with determination, with full focus, then that means that all your sinful activities are purified. So this process of bhakti has the potency to purify everything. If you have hurted somebody in your past, or if you have done some mischievous act, or if you have done some sinful act, everything will be purified. Even the people whom you have hurted, they also might become devotees, because it is said that a pure devotee, a person who becomes a pure devotee, any person who was in contact with that living entity, he gets the credit of the purity of that devotee. So no need to worry. Like bhakti, within the bhakti process, there is the solution to everything. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunestatra samasate svara harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato bhayi. So extraneously, you don't need to anything. You just need to do bhakti. You install a deity in your house. You worship the deity morning, evening. You chant 16 rounds. You offer bhoga. You take prasadam. You discuss Krishna Katha with devotees. Everything else, Krishna will take care. You just see that where you were, and now with the association of devotees, where you are now. So that way you will become grateful, and that way you will repent. So it's good that you are recognizing that you had done so many mistakes before coming to bhakti, right? So we in that way we become grateful, and we are able to understand the potency of this process. So that is also one limb of devotional service, where we glorify the devotional service. We glorify the potency, the bhakti shakti, because of which we are making so much advancement. Right? We are advancing towards Krishna so fast. Because of the association of devotees. That is also progress, when we are able to see that where we are and now where we are and where we want to go, how much we have to go more. So that is also good, like seeing things as they are. That's why it is Bhagavad Gita as it is. As it is means you are able to see where you are, where you were, and where you will be after 5 years. So everything, an expert astrologer is one who understands where a person is coming from and where a person is going towards, which life he is going towards, and what all sanskaras he is carrying right now. So then basically he becomes a perfect astrologer. Okay, Mandari?
Yes, प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your questions. Yes, Prabhuji, Prabhu, go ahead.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Yes.
यस प्रभु, अगर भगवान हमारे सामने आएंगे सबसे पहले तो हमारा रिएक्शनलेस रहेगा बिल्कुल, क्योंकि एकदम पता नहीं चलता जब भगवान सामने आते हैं। जैसे आएंगे तो पहले उन्हें ओबिशियंसेस ऑफर करेंगे और उनसे हमारा ये रहेगा कि जो भी हमारे अंदर काम, क्रोध, मोह, लोभ, जितना सब कुछ है वो सब कुछ हटा के सिर्फ अपनी और अपनी भक्ति में एंगेज कर ले, और राधा रानी आप और भगवान कृष्ण की भक्ति में एंगेज करके हमारी भक्ति आगे बढ़ाए। या भक्ति में हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा डिवोटीज़ के साथ एसोसिएट करें, हमारी जो सराउंडिंग है आसपास की वो डिवोटीज़ से हो, मतलब डिवोटीज़ हो आसपास।
Yeah. That is a very nice desire. ध्रुव महाराज भी यही कह रहे हैं कि मेरे को तुम बस भक्तों का संग दे दो जिसमें मैं भागवतम सुन सकूं, मेरे को और कुछ नहीं चाहिए। तो वेरी नाइस। मतलब इसलिए हमें हमेशा हैंकरिंग बनाए रखनी चाहिए। जैसा आपने बोला कि काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मद, मात्सर्य, उसका सोल्यूशन हमें ढूंढना है। एक्चुअली कृष्णा हमारे सामने आ भी जाए, हम उन्हें पता नहीं कर पाएंगे अगर हमारा हार्ट इतना कंटामिनेटेड होगा। लेकिन वही है कि ऐसा भी होता है, जैसे माता जी कह रही है कि जब कृष्णा आ जाएंगे और वो थोड़ी देर जब रहेंगे और जब हम उन्हें इंपॉर्टेंस देंगे तो वो प्योरिफिकेशन बहुत फास्ट हो। मतलब इट इज अप टू अस देन। ये यथामाम प्रपदन, कृष्णा इज देयर। मतलब गौर निताय, if he is in front of you, Krishna is there in Sachidanand Vigraha form. It is up to you that how much surrendered you are, how much strictly you are following the rules and regulations, how much receptivity you have, है ना? Then basically those काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मद, मात्सर्य, they will be purified within 5 years, 10 years. That's what Narad Muni, Krishna is telling Narad Muni also, right? Ki once you perfect your service, then you will see me consistently. Right now, I've just given you a glimpse. So,
यस प्रभु।
हाँ, good.
ये प्रभु, जैसे पहली बात तो ये कि जैसे हम उन्हें पहचान ही नहीं पाएंगे कि भगवान कैसे है, पहले हम उन्हें आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पाएंगे। तो प्रभु वो पहचानने के लिए भी हमें पहले इंटेलिजेंस चाहिए उस प्रकार की कि हम उन्हें पहचाने कैसे कि वो हमारे सामने खड़े हैं, कि ये भगवान है।
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
यस, क्योंकि प्रभु वो किसी भी फॉर्म में आ सकते हैं, वो कृष्णा फॉर्म में भी आ सकते हैं, वो किसी डिवोटी फॉर्म में भी आ सकते हैं।
Yes, Prabhu. और जनरली सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्या है कृष्णा को पहचानने के लिए? अमानित्वम अदम्भित्वम. सो दैट इज द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ नॉलेज. You should be humble and you should be prideless. For example, in case of Chitraketu also, like Narad Muni and Angira Muni, they could see that he is not receptive. Chitraketu was a king, and that's why they did not give him spiritual knowledge. But one day he begetted a son by the blessings of Angira Muni, and his son died. And on that day, he was feeling so much frustrated, so much negative emotions. Then they gave spiritual knowledge to Chitraketu because his receptivity was so high. He was looking for answers. So sometimes Krishna might create such situations in your life that you are looking for answers. That's why it is said that God is a necessity. God is not an option. Whether it's happiness or sadness or a difficult situation or a good situation, but Krishna should be prioritized because God is completely necessary in every situation. And somehow we have to align our sankalpa with that. So that becomes a Satya Sankalpa. When we align our Sankalpa with God's Sankalpa, then that becomes a Satya Sankalpa. We become connected to Krishna. Okay? So we have yeah. A lot of refining has to happen, and like all of us are in the same boat. Our attitude is not so humble. Our attitude is not so receptive. Krishna has to do so many things to make us receptive. Krishna has to beat us with Maya left, right, and center. Then only we become receptive. So, but good thing is that all of you, especially you and Pragya Mataji, all of you have devotee association. So if you can prioritize that, if you can read the Shastra, then you can learn everything. You can cultivate your relationship with Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else? I think very good sharing by both the devotees. So I try to keep these discussions more introspective because then you will understand that where you are and where we want to go. So in my case, I would say that if Narasimhadev comes in front of me, like I would also become fearful. There might be some fears in my heart which come out, and I would not like to go in front of him immediately. But when I will see Prahlad Maharaj going in front of him, he is feeling mesmerized, ecstasy. So just by observing Prahlad Maharaj, I might feel that ecstasy. And then I might also join along with Prahlad Maharaj in singing the prayers to Narsimhadev. So so basically, Prabhupada also used to say, right, you just hold my dhoti and I will take you back to Godhead. One disciple, he asked, you chant, why are you not able to chant 16 rounds? If you are not able to chant 16, at least chant 10. So this devotee said, no, I'll chant. I'm not able to chant 10. Okay, you chant 5. No, 5 also I'm not able to. Then Prabhupada said, okay, you don't do anything, you just hold my dhoti. I will take you back to Godhead. So you just have to hold the leg of a devotee, hold the dhoti of a devotee who is going back to Godhead. He will take you back to Godhead. So that is the power of devotion. Okay. So when we take shelter of Krishna, all the insecurities, all the fears, everything is gone. Vitarag bhakrodha manmaya mamupastuta bhavo jnana tapasa puta madhvavam agata. So all the material attachments will go. Vitarag bhak. All the fearfulness will be taken away, and all the anger, all the lower propensities will be taken away. So that is the characteristic of the relationship with the Lord. And either you do it beforehand or you do it when you experience Krishna. That is up to you. Generally, like self-realization and God realization, they are concomitant with each other. So when we are able to see Krishna in our life, then we become self-realized. Because as soon as you will see Krishna, you will see the reality, that how much coverings are there, how much anarthas are there in our heart. And you will see the spiritual nature of the spirit self also, which is residing in your heart. Okay. Thank you. Oh, a lot of verses are there. In this mantra, as well as in many other Vedic mantras, it is clearly stated that the Lord has been supplying goods to the living entities from time immemorial. So in nature, so we are also like lately discussing about empathic communication, fulfilling each other's material needs and spiritual needs. So in the nature, there is everything by which we can fulfill our needs. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. And everything, we have to depend on the Supreme Lord for everything. For milk also, for vegetables, for rain, for sunshine, for moonshine. Even for devotee association, we have to depend on the Lord. Sometimes if we follow nicely, if we chant Hare Krishna nicely, immediately Krishna will arrange devotees in your life. Somebody will find in Sankirtan. A living being desires something and the Lord supplies the object of that desire in proportion to one's qualification. If a man wants to be a high court judge, he must acquire not only the necessary qualifications, but also the consent of the authority who can award the title of high court judge. The qualifications in themselves are insufficient for one to occupy the post. It must be awarded by some superior authority. Similarly, the Lord awards enjoyment to living entities in proportion to their qualifications, but good qualifications in themselves are not sufficient to enable one to receive awards. The mercy of the Lord is also required. So effort and mercy both. Like Yashoda Mai, she was totally engaged in bringing the ropes from all the cow sheds. But only by the sanction of the Lord, she was able to bind Krishna at the end of the day. So both effort and mercy, both are required. Okay. Anybody wants to read? Ravi Bro, you want to read? Or you are outside? Pragya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
Ordinarily, the living being does not know what to ask from the God, nor which post to seek. When the living being comes to
Yes, go ahead.
when the living being comes to know his constitutional position, however, he seeks to be accepted into the transcendental association of the Lord in order to render transcendental loving service unto him. Unfortunately, living being under the influence of material nature ask for many other things, and they are described in Bhagavad Gita 2.41 as having divided or splayed intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is one, but mundane intelligence is diverse. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7, Canto, 5th chapter, 30-31 text, it is stated that those who are captivated by the temporary beauties of the external energy forget the real aim of life, which is to go back to Godhead. Forgetting this, one tries to adjust things by various plans and programs. But this is like chewing what has already been chewed. Nevertheless, the Lord is so kind that He allows the forgetful living entity to continue in this way without interference. Thus, this mantra of Sri Upanishad uses the very appropriate word, yatha.
Tathya. Tathya.
Yatha
Yatha tathya.
Tathyatha, indicating that the Lord rewards the living entity just in pursuance of their desires. If a living being wants to go to hell, the Lord allows him to do so without interference. And if he wants to go back home, back to Godhead, the Lord helps him.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So, yeah, so basically, like Krishna takes in charge. When you chant Hare Krishna, when you declare that you want to surrender to Him, then Krishna facilitates the trajectory for you. So many times, devotees who they come to their Guru, oh my Guru, our life is so difficult. Although we are able to practice devotional service, but our life is full of obstacles, full of so many miseries. Why so? Because in case of devotees, Krishna is personally arranging situations for them for their own purification, so that they can progressively go towards Krishna. In case of non-devotees, they are entering into family life, they are begetting good, healthy children, they are going to restaurants, they are going to clubs, they are nicely engaging with other non-devotees. They are so much happy. There is no pressure. There you don't have to chant 16 rounds. You don't have to follow the rules and regulations. But are they going towards heaven? Are they going towards back to Godhead? No. They are going towards hell. They are happily going towards hell. So that is the difference, basically. So this devotional life, this is not not so easy in this age also, right? So Krishna will intervene and purify you. Krishna will change your sanskaras. And if you yourself are not able to change, yourself are not getting trained by a pure devotee, then Krishna himself will change by arranging situation. Because you are surrendering to Krishna, that's why Krishna will take full responsibility of you also. So that's why we should never become like hopeless, or we should not become very frustrated by the difficult situations, or like when the purification is happening, there is some pain also. For example, when open heart surgery happens, right, there is some pain, and that's what Krishna is facilitating for all of us. Like when we declare to him that we want to come to him, we want to prioritize devotee association, then he arranges those situations for us. And that's why we should prioritize devotee association. There might be so many tests which will come in our life, and like those distractions will sway us for a long time. And that's why our intelligence should be fixed. Our life should become more and more simple, focusing on the sadhana, morning and evening programs. That is what Bhagavad Gita 2.41 says. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandan. Bahushaka anantasya buddhyo vyavasayana. So that intelligence is very, very clear what it wants to do. He sees everything in relation to Krishna. And he wants to. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas kahe, Sudrada Nishchaya, Krishna Bhakti kaile, Sarva Karma Kritaya. So his intelligence is not distracted. He doesn't want to do all the philanthropic activities. He doesn't want to earn money. He doesn't want to bring others also to Krishna consciousness. He focuses on his own Krishna consciousness. He knows that he is not so good at his relationship with Krishna. So he will do whatever it takes to improve his own Krishna consciousness. So that should be everybody's priority. That you should do whatever it takes to remember Krishna. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna nivesha. So that should be our vyavasayatmaka buddhi. Okay. Okay, so any questions from this paragraph? This is interesting paragraph actually, because this direct exchanges with the Lord, they always happen. As Prabhuji Prabhu has been telling that sometimes he thinks that he should get devotee association, and immediately one Sankirtan Toli comes in his town, and then he participates in Sankirtan with those people, right? So like this, Krishna reciprocates according to our desire and according to our qualification. And sometimes, for example, in my case, like I always wanted to teach Bhakti Shastri. So I am getting this opportunity now. And like there are different people whom I am meeting by Lord's arrangement, who are also interested to do Bhakti Shastri in a simple way. So they are enrolling here. But if I want to do Bhakti Shastri in temple, I might not be qualified to do that because I have some other obligations also, some other services also. So I have to pray more to become qualified for that service, right? So I have to refine myself more in the teaching principles, in the taking care of the students principle. So like that, like according to our desire and according to our refinement of ourselves, Krishna gives us the opportunity for that particular service. Okay. So anybody wants to read? Prabhjit Robert.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, from where God is described?
Yes. You can switch on your video. Yeah.
God is described here as Prabhya, the greatest of all. No one is greater than or equal to him. Other living beings are described here as beggars who ask God's goods from the Lord. The Lord supplies the things the living entities desire. If the entities were equal to the Lord in potency, if they were omnipotent and omniscient, there would be no question of their begging from the Lord. Even for so-called liberation, real liberation means going back to Godhead. Liberation as conceived of by an impersonalist is a myth, and begging for sense gratification has to continue eternally unless the beggar comes to help spiritual senses and realize his constitutional position. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, so everybody, like, if you go to other impersonalists, they will say that you are also God. You don't know, you are also God. Why are you searching for God? God, you are God. But then you should ask them, na, ki, if I am God, then why am I suffering? Why am I getting corona? Why am I feeling hungry? Why am I having so many lusty desires? Why my mind is so much agitated towards the opposite sex? Right? So only Krishna is God. Krishna is omniscient. We are not omniscient. Like there might be so many societies like Brahma Kumaris and so many fake gurus who would say that you are also God, I am also God, everybody is God. But a real guru, he never says he is God. He just says that he is a servant of God. And whatever he has learned from his guru in terms of Shastra, he can, as a servant, he can teach that to us. So that is the position of a real guru. He never says he is God. Because we are also like incomplete living entities. We are feeling heat, we are feeling cold, we are sleeping for so long. Krishna never sleeps actually. Krishna, even in Mahabharata, like he is 128 years old. He has great grandchildren also who is fighting on the battlefield, but still he is looking like a 16-year-old. So we are not at that level, right? So although we are part and parcel of Krishna and our nature is the same, and actually when we perform pure devotional service with good standards, our age stops actually. There are verses in Bhagavatam, Ayur Harati Punsa. So our aging, so with the setting and rising of sun, the age of everybody goes down. But a person who is engaged in glorification of the Lord in the morning and in the evening, the sun doesn't takes away the age from that devotee. So that's why in the morning we are chanting. In the evening also we are chanting. We are starting. We will start reading a couple of Bhagavad Gita verses daily. That's what we are planning to do. 7:30 to 8:50. If anybody wants to chat. So if we keep this program and we sing bhajan with our family, then we can remember Krishna all throughout the day. And if we are able to follow the rules and regulations, we are able to maintain mode of goodness. Then easily we will go back to Godhead without any problem. So all these things are possible by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in this age. कलिर्दोष निधे राजन एको अस्ति महद्गुणा कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्त संगा param व्रजेत. So this holy name has lot of potency in this age. Okay. So real liberation is when you feel Krishna, when you understand your relationship with Krishna and you go back to Godhead. It's not like beggars who ask goods from the Lord. So that is a preliminary standard of devotion. Initially, we go to Krishna for some. We have read this in Kunti Maharani's prayers, right? Like there are 4 types of mixed devotees. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritana arjuna jigyasu artharthi jnani cha bharatarshva. So these 4 devotees, they are mixed devotees and they go to Krishna for some ulterior motive. And when their motive gets fulfilled, they leave Krishna. But by chance, if they get the association of a pure devotee in that process, then their heart might get transformed. Because they will not like to leave the association of that pure devotee. Because there is so much rasa, there is so much bhakti rasa involved in that relationship with a pure devotee. That's why we don't remain on the subsidiary level of devotional service. We advance towards the unalloyed devotional service. Okay. So anybody wants to read last paragraph? Bharti Mata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Only the Supreme Lord is self-sufficient. When Lord Krishna appeared on earth 5,000 years ago, he displayed his full manifestation as the personality of Godhead through his various activities. In his childhood, he killed many powerful demons such as Agasur, Bakasur, and Shaktasur. And there was no question of his having acquired such power through any extraneous endeavor. He lifted Govardhan Hill without ever practicing weightlifting. He danced with the gopis without social restriction and without reproach. Although the gopis approached him with the paramour's feeling of love, the relationship with the gopis and Lord Krishna was worshipped even by Lord Chaitanya, who was a strict sannyasi and rigid follower of disciplinary regulations. To confirm that the Lord is always pure and uncontaminated, Shri Shromanishad described him as a Sudham, antiseptic, and Apavidham, prophylactic. He is antiseptic. Prophylactic. He is antiseptic in the sense that even an impure thing can become purified just by touching him. The word prophylactic refers to the power of his association. As mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 9.3031, a devotee may appear to be Sudurachar, not well behaved in the beginning, but he should be accepted as a pure because he is on his right path. This is due to the prophylactic nature of the Lord association. The Lord is also Apavidham because sin cannot touch him. Even if he acts in a way that appears to be sinful, such actions are all good. For there is no question of his being affected by sin, because in all circumstances he is Sudham, most purified. He is often compared to the sun. The sun extracts moisture from many untouchable places on the earth, yet it remains pure. In fact, it purifies obnoxious things by virtue of its sterilizing powers. If the sun, which is a material object, is so powerful that we can hardly begin to imagine the purifying strength of all the powerful Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very nicely read. Yeah, so Krishna is totally like self-sufficient. Sometimes he is lifting Govardhan Hill. Sometimes he is doing his pastimes with Agasura, Bakasura, Shaktasura. And similarly, if you see Prabhupada was totally, fully self-sufficient. Like Prabhupada said that Bombay is Mayapur is for worship, Bombay is our head office, and Vrindavan is our home. So Prabhupada had all the shelters. Like now we also have all the shelters. We know that Kartik will spend in Vrindavan, and here in Bangalore we are for service. And when in Delhi we'll do college preaching. So all the services are defined. Like this, we feel fully self-sufficient. Like Krishna has given us everything. So we don't need to be fearful of anything. We just have to go forward in devotional service. We have to go forward, expand our services. So there is no fear. There is always self-sufficiency and full devotional service. And that's what a pure devotee is. Like a pure devotee is always focusing on his service, focusing within his quota, and maximizing the positive energy in that quota. He increases his quota by increasing the purity and by increasing the quantity of the devotees with whom he is in touch with. So that's what, and he's able to do that just because Krishna, like a pure devotee, is very, very dear to Krishna. And Krishna is prophylactic. Because pure devotee is very close to Krishna, pure devotee also becomes prophylactic. Whoever comes in touch with pure devotee, he becomes purified. He advances in spiritual life. So many people are here like whom I have not met face to face, right? But still they are able to join in this Bhakti Shastri sessions. So that is because of the potency of the disciplic succession. That is because of the dedication of the authorities to Srila Prabhupada. So like this, we become purified and we maximize the spiritual energy and we advance. So only thing we like when we come in touch with devotees, when we establish good relationships with them, we should try to understand their mood and try to follow instead of being always stuck in our own selfish consciousness. We should try to understand the other person's mood and try to engage yourself in the service of that devotee. And that's what it is said, right? Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Guru Ritam Acharan Daswat Nicho Guru Sudrina Sauridam. So a disciple, he's always wishing well for the Guru. Guru Sudrin Sauridam. And he's always humble. So every time we have to help our Guru in expanding his services, in doing his services. If we are able to do those services, if we are able to extend that help, then we will advance. Instead of just being having our own independent mentality, our own independent program of doing some like philanthropic activities, or that will not directly help you. What will help you is to understand the mood of the senior devotee and then follow in that mood and try to help in his services. Then basically you will advance in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness. But your independent program of like working for some NGO or anything like anything else which is apart from that mood, that will not help. So that's what I'm saying, that basically we have to understand the mood of a devotee and engage in service in that mood. Then you will get the maximum benefit of the association of that devotee. And that's what here, like Prabhupada is writing, that Krishna is both Shuddham and Apapiddham. He is antiseptic and he is prophylactic. So he is just like the sun who extracts all the impurity. So for example, cow dung has both antiseptic and Apapiddham qualities. Wherever you like, even in house, if you cleanse the floor with cow dung, then actually it is said that demigods, राधा गोविंद महाराज बोलते हैं कि बिछौना लेके बैठते हैं सारे देवी देवताओं को सोफा नहीं चाहिए बैठने के लिए, उनको काउडंग चाहिए बैठने के लिए, तो वो बिछौना लेके बैठते हैं अगर आप मतलब गोबर से अपने घर को साफ करते हैं. तो ये काफी मतलब अमेजिंग चीजें हैं हमारे जो वैदिक शास्त्रों में है. बहुत सिंपल चीजें अगर हम फॉलो करें, then every auspicious thing is possible in our life. ठीक है, I will quickly read the next words also. Thank you for your response. यही है मतलब हमारी Yayamrata. Those who engage in the culture of nescient activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. So this knowledge is basically material knowledge. इसमें विद्या और अविद्या दोनों ही मटेरियल चीजें हैं. ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग आएगा, लेकिन इसमें देखते हैं क्या करते हैं. This mantra offers a comparative study of vidya and avidya. Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. This mantra of Sri Upanishad is more applicable today than at any time in the past. Modern civilization has advanced considerably in the field of mass education, but the result is that people are more unhappy than ever. Because of the stress placed on material to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spirit. हम ये करते हैं, सब
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, your voice is not clear, Prabhuji. Your voice is breaking.
Sorry, I think there was some internet connection issue. So because of this, modern Vidya are become more in Vedic education, service, नहीं
हरे कृष्णा, किसी को आवाज आ रही है क्या?
नहीं प्रभु जी, हमें तो प्रभु जी की आवाज बहुत लग रही थी, बहुत ब्रेक हो
अच्छा,
रही थी।
कैसे हो आप लोग सब?
बढ़िया प्रभु जी, आप
मैं
बताइए।
अच्छा हूँ। हिमांशु प्रभु, आप सुबह नहीं आ रहे हो आजकल? और प्रभुजीत प्रभु और प्रज्ञा माता भी नहीं आती हैं सुबह?
प्रभु जी हमारी तो ड्यूटी रहती है सुबह, एक्चुअली आज संडे था तो आज ऑफ था, लेकिन वैसे बाकी दिन ड्यूटी रहती है। सुबह हम
हाँ,
6
चलो
सवा
कोई
6
बात नहीं,
बजे रेडी।
संडे संडे तो कर लिया करो ज्वाइन।
जी जी प्रभु।
हिमांशु प्रभु, आप सुन रहे हैं? प्रज्ञा माता जी नहीं आई आज?
प्रभु जी आए थे, वो शायद लीव कर गए हैं अभी। प्रभु जी आएंगे दोबारा वापस या खत्म हो गई है क्लास?
मेरे ख्याल से उनको इंटरनेट इश्यूज हो रहे हैं, देख लो, 2-4 मिनट वेट कर लो।
जी जी।
हाँ, 2-4 मिनट वेट कर लो, बिकॉज प्रॉब्ली ही इज फेसिंग सम इंटरनेट प्रॉब्लम्स। तो
ओके ओके
हम वेट कर लेते हैं ना।
ओके प्रभु।
चलो, हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा ब्लेस। रजत प्रभु, हरे कृष्णा, आपको इंटरनेट इश्यूज आ रहे हैं?
Yes, Prabhu, yes, Hare Krishna.
हाँ, सो वी वर ऑल वेटिंग फॉर यू। और मैं थोड़ा सा गांव में इंटीरियर में था, इसलिए मुझे नेटवर्क इश्यूज थे, इसलिए मैं आप पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर पा रहा था, बट आई एम लिसनिंग टू द सेशन। हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू फॉर एवरीथिंग।
Thank you, Prabhu. So I was telling कि मतलब in Vedic society, justice, education, and medical services, all three of these were for free. And now in Kali Yuga, these three things are most expensive. And the quality has gone down so much. Like you will not get justice if you file a court. If you file a case in the court, it might go on for 20 years. And previously, if you used to visit a Krishna conscious king for justice, immediately within half an hour, he used to solve your problem. And medical also, you used to go to a Ayurvedic Vaid who used to do everything, like prevention also, cure also, just by looking at your face. And here you have to eat antibiotics, then you have to eat the antibiotics for the side effects of the antibiotics. So all those things you have to do. And education also, previously it was single pointed. You have to learn whatever is required to live your life happily. Now you have to learn everything. You have to learn geography also, you have to learn history also, you
Very
have to learn
powerful
chemistry
statement.
also.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
very powerful statement. Very powerful statement. Today, our life is being drained by these three things: justice, education, and medicine. The life gets drained off.
So that's why it is as we grow our congregation, as we grow our devotees, we should try to reinstate this Vedic tradition within our congregation, and like at least our education and our justice. So we should have good senior devotees who have good intelligence. They can give you justice and education. Just by following Prabhupada books, we can give good education to others. So at least within our congregation, within our group, we should try to apply these teachings of Prabhupada. And very easily and very quickly, we will see the result. We will see the bhakti rasa flowing in our group at least. So that's why Prabhupada used to say these are just nucleus of these are just oases in the desert. So in Kali Yuga, literally everything is a desert. But these groups where we discuss Krishna Katha, where we have good relationships, where we freely discuss our realizations, these are the oases. And here you slowly you will get good education, good justice. Medical, I don't know, like if anybody wants to become a good Ayurvedic doctor, for example, I don't know, Akshat Prabhu is not there, I think. But yeah, like Prabhjit Prabhu is there. If he wants to pursue Ayurveda, that is a good option.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So yeah, like we have to think like that. What do
We want a Ayurvedic doctor with a Google background.
So devotee is an actor. We'll see. At least we'll start with we'll start with other projects like Bhakti Shastri and education. And slowly, if anybody of you wants to become a doctor, then you can become a doctor. So as far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra has explained very clearly that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything and that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. The more a man forgets this fact of life, the more he is in darkness. In view of this, a godless civilization directed towards the so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated. So this is also a very powerful statement. It's better to stay in a village uneducated rather to like trying to build more factories and more slaughterhouses. Because Kunti Maharani is also saying that these four things are obstacles on the path of devotional service. Why not remain educationless? So, your kids are IT, and then you can train them in Krishna consciousness and they can preach Krishna consciousness. But unnecessarily, we should not contribute towards Ugra Karma. We should be happy with some simple job, and we should try to engage in devotional service and increase the quality and quantity of the devotees. Of the different classes of men, karmis, jnanis, and yogis, the karmis are those who are engaged in the activities of sense gratification. In the modern civilization, 99.9% of the people are engaged in the activities of sense gratification under the flags of industrialism, economic development, altruism, political activism, and so on. All these activities are more or less based on satisfaction of the senses to the exclusion of the kind of God consciousness described in the first mantra. So everything which is not connected to Krishna, that becomes sense gratification. So although like you want to say
What is altruism? What is altruism?
Altruism, Prabhu, is so disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. मतलब we think that we are doing well for other person. हाँ
दूसरों को उपकार करने वाले को altruist बोलते हैं.
हाँ, जैसे हॉस्पिटल खोलना, मैड हॉस्पिटल्स खोलना और कुएं खुदवाना, मतलब हम कुछ कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, फिलैंथ्रोपिक एक्टिविटीज हो गई एक तरह से, जैसे नशा मुक्ति केंद्र खोलना.
ओके मेरे को टारगेट मत करो आप.
नहीं, मतलब अल्टीमेटली ये हमें समझना है कि अगर हम कृष्णा से कनेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं और हम खुद कनेक्ट नहीं हो रहे हैं, then that becomes sense gratification. That's what Prabhupada is emphasizing again and again in various purports. Philanthropic activities are not so useful unless you like bring Krishna in the picture. I'm not targeting, I'm just saying that Prabhupada always...
I know, Prabhu, I'm coming for daily morning chanting, I'm coming.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. नहीं, मैं टारगेट नहीं कर रहा प्रभु. जनरली
मैं मजाक कर रहा था. नो, obeisances to you, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu, all obeisances to you.
Any all obeisances to everybody here that they are joining, sincerely practicing. But generally in Kali Yuga, like distractions come in these forms, like when we become more engaged in serving the material energy. but we should try to be more vigilant, more attentive in our own devotional activities. All these actions are more or less based on satisfaction of the senses to the exclusion of the kind of God consciousness described in the first one. So everything we have to gauge on this principle, that whether it is satisfying my own senses or is it satisfying the senses of Guru and Krishna. Then we will understand whether that particular activity is helping us in devotional service or not. कह देना कि कृष्ण इंद्रिय प्रीतिर सॉरी आत्म इंद्रिय प्रीतिर तारे बोले काम कृष्ण इंद्रिय प्रीतिर
तारे बोले
सॉरी
प्रभु जी ऐसा है कृष्ण इंद्रिय प्रीते तारा वांछे प्रेम ऐसे है प्रभु जी कुछ आई
हाँ कृष्ण इंद्रिय प्रीतिर तारे प्रेम नाम and आत्म इंद्रिय प्रीतिर तारे बोले काम. So if we do anything for the satisfaction of our senses, that is lust. And if you do anything with for the satisfaction of Krishna's senses, that awakens the love for Krishna. Tare prem naam. So then we get taste in the holy name. So like the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Basically, if you are chanting the holy name and you are getting taste in the holy name, that is the proof that you are doing the other activities for pleasure of Krishna. And if you are doing other activities for your own pleasure, then you will not get the taste in the chanting. So ultimately, whatever helps you in cultivating the taste in hearing and chanting, that you should do. That verse is there, na? Shramevahi kevalam. Dharma swanistata punsan vishvak sena katha suya na utpadiyed yadiratim shramevahi kevalam. So ultimately, the occupational duty Savai punsam paro dharmo yatho bhakti radhokshaje ahitukya pratyatha yayatma suprasiddha. The occupational duty is meant to cultivate the taste for hearing and chanting. And if you are not able to cultivate the taste for hearing and chanting, then that is just a shrama. Shrama evahi kevalam. That is just a hard work. So that's how we have to watch. Thank you, Prabhuji Prabhu, for contributing to this. Atma Indriya Pritir Tare Bole Kaam and Krishna.
थैंक यू
प्रभु जी प्रभु ये कौन से उसमें है? इज इट पार्ट ऑफ चैतन्य चरितामृत?
Yes, Chaitanya.
यस प्रभु जी.
वेरी गुड प्रभु जी प्रभु, आपने वो पढ़ा हुआ है चैतन्य चरितामृत?
नहीं प्रभु, ये कहीं से सुना था हमने एक्चुअली, एक दो बार कोई अमरेंद्र प्रभु के लेक्चर में सुना था और एक बार शशांक प्रभु जी भी किसी लेक्चर में हमें बता रहे थे. तो
अच्छा
बता रहे कि लस्ट और मतलब काम को हम कैसे मतलब करते हैं कि डिफाइन उसमें बताया गया था कि अपनी जो सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के लिए होता है उसको काम बोलते हैं और जो कृष्ण के सेंसेस के लिए होता है उसको प्रेम. ऐसा ही है.
हाँ नहीं अच्छा, वेरी गुड पिकअप, आपका अच्छा पिकअप है. हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा. थैंक यू प्रभु. हरे कृष्णा.
क्योंकि यहीं पे मतलब हम लोग यहीं पे मात खा जाते हैं. अल्टीमेटली लस्ट जो है दैट मैनिफेस्ट इन सो मेनी थिंग्स. इफ यू ओवर ईट, दैट इज आल्सो लस्ट. इफ यू ओवर स्पीक, दैट इज आल्सो लस्ट. मतलब लस्ट इज very dangerous actually, and it's very difficult to detect also that you are infected with lust. So that's why like we have to take association, just like these devotees are taking continuous association of devotees, senior devotees. All of us should aspire to take association. We should make a morning, evening hearing program. We should hear from Prabhupada. We should hear from senior disciples of Prabhupada daily, and then we will understand these things.
Yeah, Prabhu, it's true, because earlier मुझे लगता था lust is like काम वासना, मतलब it's related to sex, but it's not sex. It is anything where you are doing anything excess. You want anything excess. That is lust. That is my understanding.
Yes, Prabhu, yes. There are different degrees of lust. And in the 3rd chapter, Bhagavad Gita will read Dhume Navriyate Vanir Yatha Talo, something like that. So there are 3 degrees of lust.
Embryo, yeah, Prabhu, very true. Thank you, Prabhu.
And in the human life, it is very easy to like dovetail the lust to Krishna consciousness. It is just like fanning the spark. So the first degree of lust is the smoke covering the fire. So that is compared to a human being. and you just have to fan the fire a little bit, and immediately you will come out of the smoke. And the second level of second degree of lust is the covering of the mirror with the dust, and the third level of lust is the
womb.
in the womb, as Prabhu said. So there is no degree of freedom. Just like a tree, you have to stand there, whether it's winter, whether it's hot, whether it's rainy, you will have to stand there. There is no degree of freedom. And the more you become free from lust, the more degree of freedom you will have. You will be able to go here, go there. You will be able to see more alternatives in your life. You can do this thing also, this thing also. Choices will be more. So that is the art of life, art of living. That is the real art of living. Then you are able to conquer lust. Okay. Yes, Ravi, you were saying something.
Thank you so much. I mean, you have explained it so well. Thank you so much.
No, I think all of you are so receptive. That's why Krishna is inspiring me to speak. So
Yeah, this group is very vibrant. Now this group is getting more vibrance week by week, day by day. All obeisances to you as a leader.
No. Actually, there are many things more we can do. Like if there are 2 more people like me, then we can do it daily. Like this vibrancy, we can feel daily. We can get connected to pure devotees, and we can feel that vibration. So I know groups where every Saturday they do a rotation and they present something. Like just by reading Prabhupada's purport, we are finding so much bliss. We are finding so much scope of advancement in our own consciousness, right? Everything which is apart from Krishna's interest is lust, and that's why that feeling, that experience, that presence of Krishna is experienced actually.
It's a good idea, Prabhuji. Maybe Prabhuji Prabhu can present 1 or 2 slides on any topic. I can present any topic, 1 or 2 slides only. In addition to what you are doing, so it can be a good collaboration.
Yeah, I think I was also thinking the same, that even my mother and Bharti Mata was saying that we are not reading Bhagavad Gita. So we should read Bhagavad Gita. On Saturday, we can again meet for 45 minutes. And maybe either you or Prabhuji Prabhu can lead that session. I will try to join, and but I will give directions how we can do that session. So there what we can do is we can read this 108 verses of Bhagavad Gita. And maybe like Prabhuji Prabhu or Pragya Mataji, or you can lead that explanation. And as you are saying that every Saturday, one devotee comes with 1 or 2 slides on that topic, and he can present for 15-20 minutes.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Whether we present good or bad, but we should at least try to present anything on Krishna.
Yeah. That is more pure, most purified. And that way we will stay in touch with Bhagavad Gita also, because Bhagavad Gita is like a bread and butter book. Immediately,
it's a bread and butter. It's a bread and butter.
Yeah, immediately you experience Krishna just by reading one purport. So Ishopanishad has some specific theme, and it is very important to read this book also. But Bhagavad Gita, daily also, if you read 2 verses, for example, this Vyavasayatmika Buddhir verse, if you read daily also, you will get different realization. So the purport is so beautiful. So we'll resume this Saturday. So Saturday.
Bhagavad Gita is like core literature.
Yeah. It's like the manual of the spirit soul. Immediately you discover your spiritual self. So 2 p.m. Saturday 4 p.m. is okay, na?
Yeah. 4 p.m. is okay. I mean, you can check with other people. I can anywhere most of the time. Yeah. So other people. Yeah.
Yes,
Prabhu. I have my job schedule from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
On Saturday also?
Yeah, Prabhu, from Monday to Saturday.
Okay. So what we can do on Saturday, we can meet at 8 p.m. and maybe all 3 of you can follow up, like Pragya Mataji, you and Prabhu.
Yeah, I can join Pragya Mataji and Prabhuji Prabhu.
We have other classes of in the Shashank Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Correct.
Shashank Prabhu is daily classes are there, is it?
Yes, Prabhu, from 7 to 9, from 1 English class lecture there and 1 Hindi class.
Daily?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay.
We are doing some seva here, like recording and like presenting something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ravi Prabhu, you join here 7:30 to 8:15, and you can present in
Yeah,
that.
Prabhu, yeah. I'll
But
join
when,
here on this link.
yeah, Prabhu. But when there is no class there on like one day, and when जिस दिन शशांक प्रभु जी की क्लास नहीं होगी उस दिन हम ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं।
हाँ,
कौन सा
because
दिन
we
होता है वो?
प्रभु जी कभी भी हो सकता है, मतलब जैसे कोई काम हो गया, मतलब प्रभु जी को यहाँ उनकी कोई एंगेजमेंट है उस दिन ज्यादा, कभी भी हफ्ते में कभी भी हो गया, लाइक कभी होता है कि पूरे महीने नहीं होता है,